AITAH for asking my brother's girlfriend to break up with him. Story 1. Des. Last Saturday, my husband M36 and I F33 had invited my brother M26 and his girlfriend F26 over for dinner. After dinner, when we got some time away from the boys, I asked her to break up with my brother. Now, she, let's call her Ellie, is a smart, ambitious and beautiful woman who has devoted herself to her career and has been nothing but respectful to our family whenever we've interacted, and is lovely company. I'd often invite her out, and with time she also had opened up to me. That's when I started realizing she might not be happy with my brother. My brother is a very driven, ambitious, and a somewhat emotionally aloof person. He was like that even as a kid. But these very character traits have kept him from having a normal relationship. When he introduced Ellie to us, we were really happy, but he hasn't changed. From what Ellie told, though, my brother has always been respectful to Ellie. He never paid much attention, nor did he spend much time with her. He is self-sufficient and self-content to the point that even trying shared hobbies weren't special. She felt replaceable, and that only did harm to her self-worth. So when I hear how bad her mental health was faring, I asked her to break up. They did break up this week, and the surprising fact is the one to get mad at me was not my brother. He was meh about it. Instead, it was my husband, who is of the firm opinion that me asking Ellie to break up was an intrusion in their personal matters and an move on my part. So AITAH? First comment. Wouldn't have taken your advice. It is very unlikely that she chose to end the relationship based on your suggestion alone. If she did, she probably shouldn't be in a relationship if she's that easily swayed by people. Not to mention the suggestion of one singular person, if she truly felt secure in the first place. Also, even if she did, why would anyone even want to be in a relationship with a person who is so easily swayed by others? Even from a non-romantic perspective, that's concerning. Based on the op's description of her and her concerns, this was something that she was probably mulling over for a while. The suggestion from his own sister probably sealed the deal. To anyone who says this wasn't her business, I disagree. People tend to be really biased about a person they have strong feelings for. It seems like Op really admires this person. Also, having others observe how you two interact with each other can really help in pointing out things that you probably have blind spots in. Now, at the end of the day, it is your decision to decide whether or not these people are being genuine and non-discriminatory. I mean, it is your relationship, and no one can truly understand the dynamic other than the people involved. But having others point to potential flags they spot can help you be more aware of things that you may not notice at first and lead you to ultimately waste your time or get hurt unnecessarily. While I don't agree with the AITAH's, one thing about all this is bugging me. Have you actually talked to your brother about this emotional aloofness, as you call it? If he's not really connecting with people emotionally, then shouldn't he be doing some introspection as to why he's like this in the first place? Especially if this is an issue that has continually been an obstacle in other relationships, as you've mentioned. Is this just for romantic relationships? What about familial and platonic ones? Has this never been talked about before with your family? Have your parents ever shown concern about this? It doesn't really sound like he's interested in a relationship at all. Maybe he just dates cause that's what everyone expects him to do. It's a little concerning that this person kind of seems like they have trouble detecting and understanding the emotions of others. Maybe he should seek professional help if he's having trouble understanding empathy and connecting with others? More update 1. Edit: this additional info is not to defend my position but only to provide context. As someone pointed out, my brother being driven and ambitious doesn't make him unavailable. What does make him unavailable is his emotional detachment. I don't claim to know him the most, but besides our parents, I have known him the longest. The only people my brother ever had an emotional attachment to are my mother and I. I'm not boasting. I hoped Ellie was one such person, but it was clear she was not. More update 2. Edit 2. My brother never had conduct disorder problems growing up and was never diagnosed with anything such as ASPD, but he has always shown some antisocial tendencies, and my parents had employed professional help as well. The most prominent ones are his lack of empathy. More appropriately, he can understand others' feelings, but has an extreme indifference towards others and reduced emotional responsiveness. I, of course, suggested Ellie to discuss her troubles with my brother. She did discuss them, at least she told me she did, and when I said I asked her to break up, it wasn't like Ellie break up with him, or I'll end our friendship. It was a, if things are getting worse, maybe you should break up. Story 2. AITAH for threatening my wife with divorce after she quit her job to be a tradwife. Advice needed. I don't even know where to begin with this. Me 34M and my wife 33F have 2 kids together, 11M and 9F. Me and my wife have been together for 12 years and married for 8. Around a year ago, I noticed my wife increasingly sending me these tradwife or traditional housewife TikToks. I have nothing against that type of relationship, but I don't think it makes sense for our current family situation. I do earn quite a bit more than my wife and enough to sustain our family on my own, but I don't see the need to do so. I work 80% and my wife 50%, and besides Wednesdays where the both of us are working, either one of us is always home for the kids. I could work a 100% and let my wife be same, but again, both of my kids are attending school, and in my mind there is no need for my wife to be at home 24/7. She got increasingly pushy about it over the past 2 months, and again, I just kept on telling her that there wasn't any need for that, and if we did decide to go down that route, what would she do during the hours my kids attended school? I know damn well our house doesn't need to be cleaned for 6 hours a day. She would constantly try to butter me up with you would have dinner ready every day when coming home from work and something about unlimited blowjobs or some BS like that. Again, in the nicest way possible, I would remind her that our kids weren't toddlers and our current work-life schedule allowed us to function perfectly fine. We got into a pretty heated argument 2 weeks ago about it, and my wife completely stopped having sex with me to show me what I would be missing out on. She's basically been treating me like a roommate since. I just thought she would get over it, and this was just a phase, but God, was I wrong. I came home from work yesterday and saw a bunch of presents on the dining table. At first I thought they were all for me since my birthday was in a week, but then I saw the labels on them addressed to my wife. I read one of the letters attached to one of the presents. The last sentence on it was literally, "It was so a pleasure working alongside you and I wish you all the best moving forwards." I thought this was some sick prank. A few minutes later, my wife just casually strolled into the living room, acting like nothing was wrong. I guess she saw my mad expression and had the audacity to tell me that "You'll get over it, I just lost it." I just left without saying another word and went to my parents' house. I feel absolutely disrespected. Why the FTK would my wife think it was okay to just quit her job without telling me and just expect me to be fine with it? My wife has been bombarding me with texts and calls demanding to know where I am and that the kids miss me. I just told her to go find a lawyer and that I was done with her, and then proceeded to block her. My son just sent me a voicemail crying and asking why I was divorcing mom and if I was leaving the family, and I guess that kind of broke my heart. I haven't responded and honestly don't know what to say to him. My mother-in-law has also been demanding that I return home and apologize to my wife. My parents also seem to be siding with wife since they are traditional Muslims. My mom also used to Islam. I feel like I'm wrong for immediately jumping to divorce without hearing her out, and besides this whole job drama, love my wife too much for this to be the end of our otherwise perfect marriage, but on the other hand, I feel like I've lost complete trust in her. Should I just swallow my pride and let my wife stay at home from now on, or should I follow through on divorcing her? How should I navigate this situation? AITAH here. First comment. The issue is disrespect and unilateral action on the part of your wife. One way or the other, this has to stop, has to be rolled back in fact. If all you do is go along with this, basically you're telling her she can do as she pleases and you will suck it up. She will have established that precedent. She's making you her bitch. But you made some big mistakes. You moved out of the home, which any divorce lawyer would tell you is unwise. Just as important, makes you look like an asshole in the eyes of your kid and others. Go home and sleep in the guest room. For a start, resume being a parent. But do not resume the relationship. It will be awkward as hell. But if you backslide on that, she will have established that precedent. But also consult a lawyer right away. ASAP. None of that is irreversible, but she needs to know she f***ed up big time, and a formal separation agreement might be the shock she needs. She will be relentless with the kids, by the way, trying to use them as leverage against you. You just found out that your wife has an agenda, and it is that you work for her. If you don't stop it now, that will be your life going forward. Ignore your in-laws. They don't get a say. Frankly, neither do your parents. Your instincts, other than to leave the house, are fine. Second comment. 1000% this. Stop sharing money. Pay the basics or however you divide it. But any extras are on her. Without a job, how will she afford what she wants, right? Good luck, LP. I would listen to what the commenter stated above. Trust your instincts. Manipulative behavior and lack of disrespect is never a perfect marriage. Ever. Added the last 2 paragraphs also. Continue with your routine once you've moved back in ASAP for the kids of who takes them to school, pickups, activities, etc. Basically keep to your schedule of what you both were doing prior to her quitting. Absolutely keep a record of when you are denied the ability to do so. It'll show you are still caring for the kids and their needs, and how she's denying your ability to parent and to have usual equal access to your children. And please have a small but age-appropriate talk with your kids. My ex blabbed all sorts of lies and scares to ours, and it caused so many problems. I had to tell them that there are 2 sides to every situation, and you cannot have all the facts without discussing it with the other party. The details are not appropriate at this time for them to hear, but I reassured them I love them, and to look at my actions with them, because despite what they hear, that's what's actually happening, and not to worry about all the what-ifs they may have heard.